Before we get started, I just want to say today's video is sponsored by me. For real though, I just want to give a big thank you and shout out to all the people who have supported me over this last year. I really couldn't have done it without you guys. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? Words could never express my gratitude. Well, yes, I would say making clips is quite fun, but that mostly applies to the shorter videos, you know, the ones that are about 1, 2, maybe 3 minutes long, because I can just mess about in the editing studio with it. If it comes to a longer clip, or say a multi-POV video, that stops being fun very quickly and ends up being a bit of a chore at times. It's because, well, you have to plan things out sometimes. You have to time the transitions from one perspective to another. At the end of the day, when you look at it, yes, you can feel a sense of pride, but for those longer clips, I would say it's not particularly fun to do them most of the time. No, I did not do any clipping before KFP. Kiara was the first person that I ever started clipping. As for what inspired me to start, I would say it was the Kiara Polka collab. It was the portion where they were talking about fetishes or inclinations, to put it nicely. I thought it was a really funny moment, and so I decided, you know what, why don't I give a go at this and we'll see where things go. And the first video actually did relatively well considering it was a first ever video. And so I just went from there. Wait, Callie has done a British accent before? I don't think I've heard it, so I don't know. If Gura can collab with Taco Bell, then I'm sure Kiara could collab with KFC since they have a sort of rapport going on right now. If you're referring to KFP as in the fan base, then when we hit 1 million subs. For the first question, I'm not too sure if you want to be as handsome as I am, because I am average at best. As for the second question, well, honestly, it's not really much of a schedule. It all rotates around when the girls are streaming. Well, to be honest, I don't know if I would consider myself big, though I suppose in the world of hololive clipping, you know, the channel is an okay size. Did I ever expect myself to grow that big? It's hard to say, because it's something that, you know, you hope for, because not everybody who starts on YouTube can end up getting any traction. That's the sad truth of the world. But even so, I wasn't expecting it to be this quick. It was thanks to that Choco clip which really pushed me over the edge for that milestone. Now, as for the man love bit, if you're referring to bromance, then yes, that's definitely fine. If you're referring to a more romantic kind, then that's definitely fine as well. Ooh, okay, so that's a good question. Never really thought about it, but we'll split them up into shitposts and clips for the sake of the question. Now for shitposts, it's sort of a tie between the Subaru duck dancing video, but if you close your eyes, the first one, and the Kiara Good Morning shitpost, which is on her channel now actually. As for the videos, I'd say in first place, if I had to choose, it would be the one where Kiara did the stream while waiting for Ina to wake up because she overslept. How'd pudding get so sexy? I was born this way. How pudding get so say so? How was the journey or experience of clipping and growing like? To be honest, it's a bit of a roller coaster. When you first start out, it can be quite demoralizing and just makes you decide to give it up very quickly because you're barely clocking any views from the get-go. But once you see some growth, once you see that people are liking your things, once you see people are actually starting to follow you and the work that you do, it is quite heartwarming actually, especially when you read the comments. It is black. Never. Get that shit out of my sight. But if you want a proper answer, if you ordered it, I'd eat it, but I wouldn't order it myself. It really depends on how long the clip itself is. So, for example, the Holotalk clips, I can fire one off in about half an hour, perhaps less, because I tend to have everything ready to go, such as the images, the subtitles. If it's a standard 1 minute, 2 minute clip, that also depends on what kind of editing I'm doing. The longest videos tend to be the ones that either require translations, multi-POVs, or perhaps even a combination of both. To summarize it all, the length of time would be anywhere between half an hour to a few days, depending on what I do. I think what I like the most about clipping is that it's a chance to make people laugh, as cheesy as that sounds. But clipping also gives you the opportunity to present a more serious side of some talents that tend to be clipped for hilarious purposes. Now, what I hate the most about clipping is sometimes once you're halfway through, say a 10-minute video that you're editing, you just start feeling a bit you start hating your life and the laptop and everything around you, and you just want to go home and cry yourself to sleep. I would say it was clips that dragged me down into the rabbit hole. And the first person streams that I started watching, I wouldn't say regularly, but I started watching at least, would be Hachama. Though sadly I don't really watch her that much nowadays because all the time has been consumed by Kiara. Yes, Kiara. Essentially, I think one of the things that made me stay in this rabbit hole was the fact that I started clipping, and so it also gives me something to do with my life. And of course, not to mention, I just tend to enjoy the streams nowadays. But I think another reason that's making me stay, which isn't really talked about that much, is that you're curious to see where this will all lead to in the future. What is clipping according to me? Well, I would say one of the things that it can be is that it is a way to drag more people down the rabbit hole, because that's where most people start when it comes to HoloLive. And also there are times where a clip is needed to push a message out that was, made in the stream itself. Honestly, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this question, but being able to select a moment is something that you slowly acquire as you keep on carrying on with this line of work. I mean, even to this day, I still have no idea what I'm doing sometimes. But I'd say a good guideline would be if the moment makes you laugh or smile at the very least, then that's a good choice to add into the video or to clip in and of itself if the moment is long enough. When it comes to mistakes that you ought to avoid, one of the biggest things I would say is to not clip them out of context, especially when it comes to serious things. The first thing that I tend to do is go through the stream tags in the relevant Discord channels. So for example, for Kiara streams, I go through the KFP stream tags, and then just open up my editing booth, throw the clip in there, then upload, do up a description, create a thumbnail, and then that's about it really. When it comes down to staying consistent on the videos or the creation of the videos, most of it can be attributed to an editing style. It's just simply a case of going back and tapping on those and applying it where you think it's relevant or where you think it's necessary. For the Hollow Stars bit of the question, as of now, I don't think I will be clipping them anytime soon. I mean, in the future, you never know what could happen. Now, as for why do I follow Kiara the most? Okay, so soon after the debut, I saw a clip of Takamori, and I was quite interested in the fact that not only was there already a ship at such an early stage of their VTuber careers, but also the fact that Kiara seemed rather unfiltered compared to the rest. I mean, sure, we have had unfiltered VTubers before, such as Hachama, Marin, and Coco, but because Kiara was streaming mostly in English, I felt a bit more comfortable with that, and me being the type of person that I am, that just grabs my interest a lot more easily. But yeah, if we were to sit here and talk about all the reasons why I follow her the most, this would probably end up becoming a 1 hour long Q&A session, and I'm sure you don't want to hear me rambling on for that long. So yeah, that's the end of the Q&A. Thank you all for sending in your questions, and feel free to leave your comments, thoughts, criticisms, insults, whatever down in the comment section, and I hope you all have a good one. Cheers.